All right, so this Asian girl says she has a theory on why Asian men love saying the N word, Asian guys in general. I didn't even know Asian guys like saying the N word. Let's hear what she got to say.
This is my theory on as to why Asian guys love to say the N word, love to appropriate parts of Black culture, like braids and do rags. This is my perspective as someone living in Australia. So obviously it's different if you're in America and you grew up with Black culture. Like I can't really say much about it, can I? Because I don't know. For the longest time until recently, when people started hyping up Asian men, they were the most emasculated. They were seen as submissive. They weren't even seen as sexual beings. They weren't even seen as a dating possibility.
Which is kind of confusing to me because y'all had like karate moves for a long time where y'all like literally doing kung fu and karate and Muay Thai, got all these movies and stuff like that. And literally everybody thought that you guys, I know everybody I know thought that every single Asian dude can fight. Like every single Chinese dude or Japanese dude knew how to do karate. That was a stereotype. It was because of the movies. So I don't understand how they got to the point where people felt like they was emasculated if they had a culture of karate movies that was in America shown to Americans for such a long time, actually shown to the world for such a long time. So how are they emasculated? But to her point, she's saying that Asian men were emasculated. Let's see what else she got to say.
On the flip side, black men have been hypersexualized, fetishized, and their stereotype is seen as aggressive, and people regard them as full grown men when they're just boys before they're men.
I don't even know how to feel about that. People regard them as full grown men when they're just boys before they're men. Was she trying to low key throw shade? I don't know. All right, so I know I said I don't know how to feel about what she just said, but when I look back over the video, I realized that she's right. They look at young black males as full grown men while they're boys before they even become men. So and that's they use that as a justification in the criminal justice system. That's why they try 8-year-old boys as 18-year-old men, 12-year-old boys as 18-year-old men, and then they use it as an excuse to actually put young kids in jail, in prison. You know what I'm saying? So she has a good point that she's making. And I know I said I feel some type of way, but after thinking about it, after I process the information, she is so correct. And it's a problem because boys aren't men before they're boys. They're still boys. And that they should be treated as such. Because when it's a white counterpart that is the same age as a black counterpart that's 12 years old, they're treated two totally different ways in the world and also in America. The reason why black men are fetishized and the reason why we're looked at as aggressive and all these different types of things. First of all, you could, for as far as us being fetishized, you can thank sports and you could thank the stereotype that we all have big things. You could thank that stereotype because some black men, yeah, you know what I'm saying. We are well endowed. Majority of us are well endowed, but some are like way more well endowed than others. And I guess the few people on the outside who weren't black, who had those experiences with black men, who had the, you know what I'm saying, like really, really big, you know what I'm saying, joints. Then that gave black people, the black men, the stereotype that all of us have super big things, and that's not true. But most of us are, I feel like, are probably more well endowed than the average other race, and it's just, you may not like that, but it's I believe it's facts. Um, and the reason why we're looked at as aggressive is because another reason why we're fetishized as well is because we dominate entertainment and sports, and those are arenas where we look very masculine, especially football, boxing, even basketball. You got these sports where you have these almost superhumans who are like bigger than the average man, and then these are mainly black. 80 to 90% of the people in these arenas are black people, especially the ones that succeed. So that's why, like, you know what I'm saying, like we're fetishized in that way, but we're looked at as aggressive because the media is constantly trying to putting us on the news and saying that the black people robbing and they constantly use negative terminology to describe black people when white people do the same exact crime. They use more softer terminology and they act like, and then it's the movies too. Movies always usually have black men as like gangsters and thugs and stuff like that.
My theory is that when Asian guys take part in black culture, for them it's an attempt to feel more masculine, to feel more like a man. But in doing so, sometimes, most of the time, they disregard everything else that black people have to go through.
It's a good point. It's a good point. Um, Everybody tries to do our culture. I mean, I feel like women from other races and cultures try to act like black women. But they, when black women do period and all that type, all these different types of phrases and mannerisms that black women do, I see every single race of women do. So and then with black dudes, everybody, I guess we epitomize masculinity as far as being the dominant and strong and aggressive and things like that. So I can see why she would think that.